Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Live Market Analysis ASX edition. My name is Carl Capolingua. I'm the Market Analyst over here at Think Markets Australia, and it is a pleasure to be with you as we delve into the depths of your Aussie portfolios. We're going to keep the best ones, we're going to kick out the worst ones, and we're going to find some great new trades to add to your portfolio. The agenda for today is very simple. It's over to you. There should be a Q&A window somewhere in the Zoom session if you're joining me live on Zoom, or if you're watching me on any of the streaming services, that is LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter, or Facebook. There should be a chat window there. You can get in touch with me as well. If you're watching on the YouTube recording, ex-post, not live, hey, there's a bunch of different ways you can get involved live. Love to have you here. Let's head over to the Amy Broker charts to start off with. I often get questions, hey Carl, what charting package is it? It's Amy Broker. Don't stress, it's not related with any broker, it's just the name. It's a one-off license, it's a lifetime license. Go to Amy Broker. I don't get paid if you do. It would be nice if they gave me a little bit of a kickback. But hey, it's going to be completely useless to you unless you know how to use it more generally. B, you can program it. And that's the reason why I use it. It's programmable. I can put all my custom indicators and trend ribbons on there. That's why I like it. Hey, you can replicate this on your Think Markets platform to a very large extent. Certainly you can get all of my trend ribbons on the Think Markets platform, and there's a bunch of other great indicators and tools there as well. And I know many people are using TradingView, so let's not beat around the bush. That's where many people are, and you can do the same on there. If you don't know how to do the colors, hey, Google it, and there'll be plenty of PineScript around. So that is what we're looking at, and more specifically, we're looking at the ASX. Well, that's not fair. The All Ordinaries Index, which is a reflection of what's going on the ASX, the top 500 Australian companies, and more importantly, we're looking at them on a total return basis. That's what it says up here, the XAOA. I bet you didn't even know the XAOA existed, but it does. Top 500 companies adding back dividends, any capital returns, all the stuff, all the goodies that shareholders get over the history of the market, well, at least back to the early 90s there. What we can see here is the huge impact of adding back those dividends, because we are closing, or at least we did close, that's the July candle right there, at an all-time record high. So if you're a long-term holder in Aussie shares, you've never had it as good as right now. Maybe that's a little bit at odds with the ASX 200, much narrower market, only 200 of the biggest Aussie stocks, which hasn't yet made an all-time high, because of course we are taking out the impact of dividends. And then if we go to the daily chart, it looks a bit sketchy and a bit sideways, doesn't it? But look, the message is that if you can be in the right places at the right times, there are great opportunities and great rewards out there for Aussie investors. Let us turn to your requests today. First in today was Craig with VEA. So let's head over here, and I'll do my best to give you technical and company valuation where required. So if it's a company I like, we'll do the valuation. If it's a company I'm not interested in, then why would we waste our time doing the valuation? This is a company I'm interested in. It has been one, I think I've tweeted about it, maybe around here, I think. I don't think it's come up all that recently, but it looks pretty solid within the long-term trend. So that's this trend zone here. And the short-term trend has just turned up. That's very important. And if you're unsure what indicators I'm using to create my ribbons, they're just over there. Okay, I'll let you investigate those in your own time. 21, 34, 144, 233. But I like to see a short-term uptrend within a long-term uptrend. I also like to see that on the way up, at least when we're green, the long-term trend is a point where prices tend to bounce off. And we can certainly see that here. So you can see prices bounced here, 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 and here, and in fact here. And if we go back further, we're going to find that they bounced here and here and here. And some of you might be going, hey, how is that possible? Is it possible that your trend ribbons are pushing the price up, Carl? And I say, absolutely not. That is not possible. The trend ribbons don't push the price up. It's just pure coincidence. And I'm not trying to be flippant. It is pure coincidence that these trend ribbons work so well on so many securities over so many time frames. It just is. But hey, isn't that wonderful? It's like a warm, cozy blanket we can wrap ourselves in, knowing that trend ribbon is going to do the right thing by us more often than not. And so long-term trend supporting, short-term trend seems to be supporting. The price action is where I need to go next. So get the trends right, then zoom in, get the price action right next. And for that, I do my peaks and troughs. Very simple. High highs, high lows is a short-term uptrend. Lower highs, lower lows is a short-term downtrend. And the peaks, pretty simple. The highest the pointy bits between the short-term uptrend on the left and the short-term downtrend on the right, and the troughs must be therefore the opposite. Short-term downtrend on the left, short-term uptrend on the right, higher highs back through here, and then we're going to go into here, and here we are. Well, I don't know where this short-term trend is going to end. It could be anywhere. Let's just draw it to the end of there for now. But we do have high peaks and high troughs, so that's a big tick. The price action isn't all that fantastic. This good price action for me is where I've got nice separation between the last trough. So that's this one here. Let's go last trough, and the last truth, and the second last peak. Okay. It sounds a little bit complicated, but just the picture is pretty simple, isn't it? Last trough, second from last peak, nice separation through there. That means you're going to have a nice motive phase, a very shallow pullback phase, and that's what I call great price action. This is starting to compress this price action for very good reason. And look, before I go to the candles, let's talk about something else we do need to consider with our technical analysis is the next big point of supply we might be bashing into. So this is what I call a point of supply. Let's go back to caps here. There's one there, there's one there. Notice how point of supply 2 was a little bit lower than point of supply 1, indicating that supply is building. In fact, there's one in there, isn't there? There's actually 3 in there. So we've got 3 little peaks in an area that is consistent with excess supply in the market for Viva Energy shares. Okay, and there might be people who would look at the company, experts, much smarter than me, and plenty of people much smarter than me out there, and they'd look at the company and they go, look, it's fair value, or it's starting to get expensive. We're going to start selling, and the demand that was in the system is overwhelmed, and the prices fall from there. Okay, what does that mean for us as technical analysts? Well, it means that there were probably a bunch of people caught in the market here on the long side. Okay, how do I know a lot of people were buying and therefore caught on the long side? Well, look, it was going up before that. So logic suggests that there were a bunch of people caught up here, and the people who got in sort of in and around this zone, let's make it green because they were buying in around there. That also changed the other thing to green. Isn't that wonderful? Let's go back to here. The buyers in here, how did they feel? Down here? They felt pretty awful, right? Well, some of them that knew that my long-term trend was probably going to push the price up, they're probably okay, but others felt pretty awful. And some of those people, the next time we get back up there or in and around the zone, we're actually very close to it, aren't we? They're going to want to start to supply again. Okay, so we call this latent supply. And it can often compress the price action. So it's all happening where I would expect it to happen. No surprises there. I can probably forgive the price action. Otherwise, it's all very good. I'm pretty happy. The candles are the final flourish. I want to see white candles. I want to see lower shadows. I've got a few in there, but they're not exactly knocking my socks off. If I zoom out, we can see it's a company that is not inclined to give us consistent white candles over very long periods of time. It's a bit choppy. It's probably a bit illiquid as well. Look, if I had to give this a score out of 10, just purely technical setup here, I think it's pretty good. I could go 7 out of 10 quite comfortably on this, okay? Which means if you had it, I could hold it. That is, if it's one of your really favourite companies out there. If it's a matter of saying, well, is this my favourite or is something else today going to be my favourite? We're probably going to find something better than this. So you might want to jump onto that one. But otherwise, I can go hold. I'm not going to be a sell. I can't see any reason to sell it at all, in fact, based upon the strong evidence that I can see that we actually do have excess demand in the market. And if you've got excess demand, why would you get out of anything? Would I buy it with my money? And that's what this all probably comes down to at the end. The buy, hold, sell is relating to if I would go out there and buy it with my money, I'm going to stop short of saying yes on that. I think I'm going to find something better than this today. So will I look at the fundamentals on that? No, I don't think I will, because I reckon I'm going to find something better than this today. It's not a competition for people listening today to try and one-up each other and say, I'm going to find the best thing for Carl to look at today. It's not. This is about your stocks. It's about helping you understand what's in your portfolio. And whether you might want to keep them or turf them out, that's up to you. It's not up to me. Everything we discussed today is general advice. It has not taken into account your personal financial circumstances or particular needs. So before making an investing decision based upon this very general advice, you should consider it carefully or seek the help of a financial professional. XRF Scientific, this is one I tweeted about yesterday. It's been coming up in the tweets a few times over the last few weeks, because you can see through here much like the other one. There's our green zone interaction. That's what I'm looking for. Nice white candles around there. So that one in particular and that one getting me quite excited about the prospect of being able to buy the dip on this one. And you always hear that, don't you? Oh, buy the dip, buy the dip, buy the dip. Well, how do you buy the dip? A couple of ways to do it. You can buy the dip near the dark green zone. You can buy the dip near the light green zone. Not saying one works better than the other, but at least we know what to look for when we get there. Okay, nice white candles around the dark green zone. I like the second one. If we had to call this candle 1, I think if you're buying the dip on candle 1, it's an extremely aggressive entry. Turned out to be perfect, didn't it? But I would say that's extremely aggressive. Say, Carl, how can it be aggressive if you nailed it? Well, you didn't know you were going to nail it. I'd say candle 2 is a far more conservative and far more sensible entry for me, because after candle 2, you can clearly see that we've got rising points of demand. Demand is starting to increase, starting to take out the supply that's so clearly in the system. So candle 2 for me is the ideal entry. And then there's probably a few little candles from there. Look, happy holder on this. Clearly there's going to, look, yesterday I think it looked amazing. There's going to be a little bit of supply here today, no surprise. Okay, if you thought it was going to just breeze through that supply, you might have been kidding yourself a little bit. But I don't think that supply is going to be too much of an issue, to be honest. Yesterday we saw it, we looked at it, we didn't have too many issues with it. Today's still a live candle, and I think we might even see some demand come in and push it back off those lows today. Certainly, there's plenty of demand in the system. White candle after lower shadow, it's all good. Short-term uptrend is great. Long-term trend is immaculate. And I rate this as a very high quality setup. If I had to give this a score out of 10, I'm going to go 9.5 out of 10. And the only reason why it's losing a 0.5 is that black candle today. I wouldn't necessarily buy it based upon that black candle. I'm not averse to buying it. However, if you've got a slightly medium to long term view, you don't care about timing entry as much, I think it's fine. Certainly happy holder, no doubt about it. So that is XRF Scientific. Because it's one I'm very interested in, let's head over here to the Refinitiv Icon spreadsheet and check out XRF. That's what I can do. And I don't do fundamental analysis, ladies and gentlemen. Honestly, I couldn't care less about it. You cannot imagine how little I care about the fundamentals of a company. I know many of you are very upset about that. Probably almost upset about how England got that brand new ball after 30 overs, probably. But it's true. I don't care about the fundamentals. But if I did, this is the way I would do it. I would see what the big brokers say. And the big brokers, let's face it, are way smarter than all of us combined and then squared. Smarty pants is top 2% of their classes, handpicked by Goldman Sachs, UBS, Bank of America, Citigroup, paid hundreds of thousands of dollars a year to do this research that we can't do. But the great thing about it is Thomson Reuters, in their Refinitiv Icon product, costing about a couple of $1,000 US per month, by the way, go and survey all these big brokers, and they get what their numbers are, various bits and pieces of information here. And what I can do is then average those out into consensus estimates. We've also got historical data that's in the bag from the company, and then I can do some tweaking on that to get an idea of fair value based upon my intellectual property, which is down here. We only have one broker, unfortunately, for XRF Scientific. They are at a strong buy. That's encouraging. But look at their price target. They haven't updated that for a while, is my guess. We're quite a bit over that price target, by about 17%. Looking at the EPS line, which is where I like to go next, I want to see bottom left, top right on this, showing that the company can grow earnings through thick and thin, through pandemics and inflation and all sorts of supply chain shortages. And that appears to be the case. That's a great looking growth profile for a small company. It's a company that does make money, and it's expected to continue to the tune of about 8% per annum, which is good growth. I mean, it's not shooting the lights out, but it's good growth, especially if we can get it at a really low PE, or at least as low as the market PE, which is about 15. Look, it's not. The PE is a bit high, but based upon what we've paid for it in the past, I don't think it's all that bad. And the spreadsheet takes all of these factors into consideration to say that my fair value, funnily enough, my fair value is actually pretty much where the price is right now. So my fair value is far more accurate than the brokers. Is that right? Is my fundamental valuation better than their fundamental valuation? No, it's not. I'm being flippant here because nobody actually knows the fundamental value of anything. Nobody does. Even even Warren Buffett. He actually doesn't know the fundamental value of anything. And I'm sure Warren would agree. You don't know what you don't know, and anything can happen, and that's the thing. But we have estimates, and we make our best guesses, and that's really all fundamental analysis is. It's just guesswork. Okay, let's head over to this. That one was for David. This was also for David. I want to look at this one. I had a big pop there. It's one I've been watching, David. I know you've been watching it. I can't remember if I've tweeted about it. I've been very close to tweeting about it. And I look at stuff like this and I go, ooh, that's got my interest. It's turning around. But I can't. Unless you can't do anything, as you know, until we get into my amber zone. Which has obviously turned amber after being, pink for a long time, telling us that we can't buy this one. And hopefully you're starting to realize just how powerful this method is. I mean, it is an extremely powerful method because when this stock listed up around here at 680, hits $8, and all the brokers told you it was great, and then plummeted, and then, oh, no, it's cheap, it's cheap, it's cheap, it's cheap, it's cheap. And it just kept going down, had a rally here, didn't quite make it, did it? Even made a new low after that rally. You know, what a great method this is to just take all the emotion out of it. And that's really what good investing is about, is taking that emotion out and just looking at this subjectively and saying, look, I think demand is coming back in. It's coming back in a big way. Why is it demand coming back in? Is it because the company's cactus or the company's turning around its earnings? And I think the latter is probably more likely. I wish I had this one in my Twitter shortlist, David. I don't think I did, but I'm glad that your eye is tuned into this. Maybe I ran it here. Maybe that was the first day. And hopefully you can see why I really couldn't run it before that. As good as it looked here and here and here, I just needed to be sure that we are holding this long-term downtrend zone. And I think you had to, because look, it just didn't quite do it here. It didn't hold it. It failed. And we wanted that hold. But unfortunately, the hold was just this huge gap and this huge white candle, which means you're getting in way higher than where I'd love to get in around here. So it's a turnaround play. Hopefully people that have been watching me for long enough know it's absolutely textbooked, and they're probably just as frustrated as I am. But I think you can own it if you bought it based upon me putting it in my Twitter shortlist. If you don't know what my Twitter shortlist looks like, I'll only do this very quickly, but we've got new people coming in all the time. That's my Twitter there. If you don't follow me, you really should. But if I go SDR and then I just go at Carl, you'll see, if I can type my name right, you'd see every time I've talked about any stock that you're interested in. Don't go top, go latest, because put it in reverse chronological order. Absolutely wonderful. And you can see here, July 20, I mentioned Siteminder. I wonder if I ran it as my feature chart. These are my favorite charts. Well, that goes up to L, so it probably will be in the thread, if there is one, because that's 2 of 2, which means if I click on this, I'll get 3 of 3, or maybe I won't. No, 2, it is 2 of 2. And I didn't run it then. I didn't run it as my feature chart. But that's the last time I put it in, which is earlier. I did put it in early. There you go. And if it's on that list, for me, my opinion is that it's a plus 1/3. I ran it there. There you go. I ran it on that one, this one here, which is cheeky from me because I think that's a bit early. But it's a company I've been watching for a long time. I've covered it on the call. I like the company, and that causes me to go early sometimes. But there you go. It's a plus 1/3, and you actually could have got in that day. I don't think there's any reason to get out since then. Massive lower shadow. That's not so bad, lower shadow. And then white. Maybe that's where David got in. Hopefully you did, David. And hopefully there's something nice for me in the mail at Christmas time. Something, don't know, could be, well, I'll leave it to you to decide. Maybe ping me offline. Siteminder. Looks good. What would I do with it now? We've got this big point of supply in here. Thank you. Well done. There we go. Big point of supply. So if you're wondering, this is the one here. That's the candle. That's the 20th of July when I put it on my list. And if it's on the list, I'm a plus 1/3 on it. I'm still plus 1/3 here. I can't see any reason why you wouldn't continue to add to this. Maybe that's what David's asking. Plus 1/3. This candle was also plus 1/3. And okay, look, here's the thing. This candle here is live. This last candle is a live candle. You must understand this. Okay, it is a live candle. So every time I say, oh, that candle looks great, I'm a plus 1/3, it's always dependent on us closing near the high. I want to see it near the high, within 10% of the high, if you're not sure. Okay, so assuming that occurs, I'm a buy. We had to stop here, didn't we, David? We had no choice but to stop here in many ways. But I think we're not afraid of this, and I think we can move through. I know there's another little one here, but it's not so far up enough to, I think, to be different from this one. I think it's much of the same, and then that would be my next target through here. But very happy with this one as a turnaround play. Please understand that turnaround plays are more risky. than your bottom left, top rights like XRF. But I think you should have a mix of setups, both bottom left, top rights, or continuation plays, as I call them, and the turnaround plays here, because they tend to behave differently when the market does different things. Okay, it's part of just having a diversified range of setups. Two really good, really interesting setups there, David. Let's go to AW1, which is another one I've been tweeting about as well. It's in a trading hold as far as I know, Nick. I don't know why. I just read that yesterday it was in a trading hold, so I'm guessing we're going to have some news on it tomorrow or the next day. Hopefully it's good news. So all I can say here is that it's heading in the right direction. We've got to hold on because we have no choice. And let's hope that the news breaks in line with the trend, which is so often the case. Just before I run away to the next one, I just wanted to check out SDR. I'm actually very curious to see what's going on here. I know we're going to have some coverage at least. 15, yeah, you go. So it is widely covered. Isn't that wonderful? Siteminder, 15 brokers covering. Average price target, still plenty of upside there, 494. How about that? I wasn't expecting that. 5 strong buys, 6 buys, 4 holds, 1 sell. I wonder how they were placed all the way down. I bet you that hasn't changed a whole lot. How about that? And then we're still retrieving. And maybe good old for an icon, I've talked it up here, but it can be a bit slow sometimes, which is not a problem for me. I type the thing in, I go make a cup of coffee, I come back and it's ready, but not that practical in my webinars, is it? Yeah, we're not going to get much on this, and we don't have a growth rate anyway. So let's just give you that for your interest, and that's probably enough. Let's keep moving. I'm going to change the screen, Nick. Let's go on to the next one. And we have let's go to the streamers here. SOL for Washington's H. Sol Pattinson. It's one I have tweeted about in the past, but not recently. And I think you can see the not recently through here, but we are also getting a similar sort of move here, like XRF, off that dark green zone. The ideal buy point, I think that candle's really nice. And the only reason why I say this, I know it's all historical, we can't go back in time, but I want to tune your eye in, because I'm not here every day. I'm only here on Tuesdays for an hour. So if you see that, I think that looks really good. For me, that's where I would go plus 1/3 because of the amazing long-term trend and just the pedigree of this one. Why wouldn't you? This white candle here, very encouraging. This white candle, very encouraging. So is today's candle, all very encouraging. I think if this candle closes towards the high of the session today, very close to the high, then I could also go plus 1/3. Earlier is better in these setups because you do have to contend with the point of supply at some stage, okay? And then you have to think, well, what's my reward to risk? And if you can get in here and you are setting your stop, let's use an orange color, sort of down here, which is a logical place to set your stop. And if this is your entry, and we look up to the point of supply, we've got so much room, don't we? We're easily 1-to-1. The problem with sort of going here is, well, where do you set your stop? I think you've got to go actually probably around here, because you've got a lower shadow, a lower shadow, a lower shadow, and a couple little peaks here. So for your next stop, it's probably under there. And then you look up, and it's hard to make the point of supply now 1-to-1, isn't it? So it's very strong. It's a very strong trend. I'd be more than a happy holder here. Hold is, it's sell. Let's do this. So let's go sell equals 0%. This is the way I apportion the probabilities to it. And then it's just a matter of whether you want to go hold. I'm going to hold is like a 95%. And then whether I'm buying it in terms of my confidence levels, it's probably, I think that's probably unfair. I'm going to change that. I'm going to go 20% and then I'm going to go 80%. So I think that's unfair. And let's turn unlock back on. No, unlock's off. Let's try again. The keyboard stopped working. Hear me desperately trying to type here and it's not working. There we go. Not sure what's going on there, but that's how I would look at this one. I'll leave it up to you whether you think there's a plus 1/3 there, but it's very, very strong. Let us then, that was for Leonardo. Let's go to Ahmed, who's got OBM, which Ora Banda Mining. That's one I definitely tweeted through here. Many times this made it in, and then it came off. And if it comes off the shortlist for a few weeks, that should give you a pretty good indication that you might need to do something. Hey, I'm not going to tell you. I'm going to have a short list of stuff you need to get out of. This is not what I do. I'm not a signal service. I'm an education provider. I teach you how to get in. I teach you how to get out. The rest of it's up to you. But I think you can see pretty clearly through here how the trend changed. So, this is a problem. This is a problem. More black candles starting to break through points of demand. And I think for the people that follow me long enough, you could easily see a number of minus 1/3 through here where you are taking profits on a number of plus 1/3 through here. I can't see any reason to own this at this stage. If you did have any, you would only have a little bit left. And that is on the basis that it can hang in above this long-term trend ribbon, because if it gets beneath that, it's extremely dicey. And for me, it would be the sort of the minus last third that you might have on this one is on a close. I don't need to spend any more time on this, apart from saying, look, if it started to do something like this, that's when I could be more interested in buying it again. But it's so far away from that. If I was to do the percentages, sell it's tenuous here, isn't it? It's probably 80% sell, and therefore I could probably go maybe only a 20% hold, and that's probably being extremely generous when you think about it. But the important thing here is that for me, buying this is completely off the table. And many people will probably say who own this stock, hey Carl, let me tell you about Ora Banda Mining. Look, they've got this great little gold mine. It's over here. It's open to the south. It's open to the north. It's open at plunge. And I'll say, look, that's a really great story. Just hold on. I'm just going to go over there in the corner and play Tetris on my phone. But you keep going. Really, really. Such is my interest in stocks that aren't showing what I need to see on the chart. It's not because I don't like your stock. It's because I don't like its chart. AMD. Enough said. Let's keep moving on that one. I won't even give that the 20 seconds to make it fit into the YouTube. There's no, I can't see any reason to own that stock at all. But Carl, let me tell you. Okay, keep talking. I'm over here. Is that unfair? Let's go to Doug, CAR, which is looking good, Doug, isn't it? It has been on the shortlist from time to time, but probably noticeably absent, Doug. I know you do look at my shortlist. And you're probably, wait, Carl, why aren't you putting it in? Because, you've got this long-term trend. And there's been plenty of white candles in and around here. And the answer is, look, I don't mind it. I just think it's a bit flat and it's a bit choppy and it's a bit undecided in terms of the black, white, black, white, black, white. But otherwise, it's good. It's one of those where you'd go hold is a very high percentage. Hold equals maybe 75%. And buy, I think it's a warm buy. But I don't really want to put warm buys in my shortlist, if you get what I mean. So let's go 25%. So I think it looks very good. And the opposite of the couple we just looked at before, for me, sell equals 0%. Okay. If that means anything to you, this is my view of the world. If my view of the world means anything to you, then that's how I view the world. But here's the point of supply here as well. And that's probably another reason why I've just left it off the list. Doesn't mean you sell up there, Doug. I think it's fine. But watch the candles. If you start to see some nasty stuff going on up there, well, and if you ever wonder, hey, what is that nasty stuff I need to be worried about, Carl? Well, just go and find the last time it plunged. And that'll be your great template, your great case study for what to look out for to get out of this time around. Is this time around going to be like last time around? I don't know, maybe not. But certainly we're going to see lower points of supply. That's why what I do here is it's a method, it's a system. Look, it is discretionary. I'm not saying it's 100% because you need to do some of this work and say, well, this candle here is really bad, especially when it comes after that candle. And when we're closing beneath that pod there, it's not good either. And for me, I'm looking at this, you know what I'm like. I just want to be on the best stuff. I'd go 1/3 on the basis of that candle. So I tune in at say 350 in the afternoon, and I say I don't like that candle. Negative 1/3 at 350 on that candle. I'd go minus 1/3. This is just my view of the world, and then the final third would be that at 350 on that candle. That big wipe out there, another lower point of supply, and that would be my minus 1/3. You can see many ways the benefit of, if you can, you don't have to check the whole market at the end of the candle, but just check your stocks. And that gives you the benefit of getting out before many of these gaps. Look at that thing there. So that's how I would have exited Carsales as a case study. Okay, was that a good place to get out? It turned out to be. Could I predict the future? No. Is there anything special about me? No. My mum says there is. My wife, I'm not sure. She hasn't decided. It's been 20 years. I think the jury's still out on that one. But my mum thinks I'm really special. Let's go to RUL. Oh, what's happening here? Look, 3 black candles for me is a no-no. Pop, pop, pop. And that's going to be blasphemy for some people. The value, Carl. The value in the moat. You should not be selling something with such great value and such great moat. But for me, I don't like that. And I'm probably just going to take a leave and just go somewhere else in the meantime. If it picks up again, I could happily get back into it. But yeah, look, and maybe beneath there as well. And I'm not going to fuss if it's something I bought and then it's something that didn't go the right way. I'm not going to fuss about it. I'm just going to move on. There's plenty of other better things to do, plenty of other fish in the sea than this one. And the frustrating, sometimes they are frustrating because you know that this could well be the big area of support that ends up holding. And there's every chance that it does this. It does something like that through here. But beneath there, I'd still go minus a third, which means that I'd still have some skin in the game, right? I mean, if I started out by buying 3 shares, I'd sell 1 share straight away. I'd sell 1 share on a close beneath that, and then I'd have my last share, this is me, you can do whatever you want, remaining down here until we close beneath that, right? So plus with remaining, and then in brackets, minus that third on a close beneath the ribbons, all right? And what's great about this is not that it's right or wrong. I'm going to put to you it's right more often than not. I think if you followed me for any length of time, you can see that. You know that already, right? And you just have to stick it out. And I think you already know that when you fail to stick it out on that one trade, like, oh no, I should have just followed. I should have just got out like Carl told me to. Why did I hold on to that rubbish? You're not going to get it right all the time, but at least you know what you're doing. You know, and for me, that's half the battle. That, you know, there's so much uncertainty in the world, right? What's the Bank of Japan going to do? Look, I don't care. But at least I've got a roadmap for how to get into and out of my stocks, right? And I know if I follow the roadmap, I'm going to be just fine. Let us go. Past performance is not an indicator of future performance. I did have that compliance talk, didn't I? When I was in Melbourne. Let's go to E. Actually, I better do these tweeters. James tweeted at me, GRR, if I have time. I've always got time for you, James. But I'm not going to spend much time on this. I've got time for you, James, but I don't have any time for Grange Resources. I think it looks really bad. It's not looking as bad as it was, say, a few weeks ago, but it's still pretty bad. And James, you know I need to see this sort of stuff. And then I'm going to start to say nice things about it. But it's got to do so much. Look at the traffic light system, James. Come on, traffic light. It needs to go back to at least amber before we can look at it. Actually, I think I tweeted it a few times here, didn't it? But it's just so disappointing, this stock. You would have had to get out very, very quickly on that one. At least amber before I look at it with any great interest, James. Let's do Peter Elders. I know this is another fan favorite here. And many people told you it was great value. It had a wonderful moat around it. And it didn't turn out to be the case because it looks like my trend ribbon killed it. Is that right? Did my trend ribbon kill it? I don't think so. It just turned out that way. But the trend ribbon has turned around, so that's short-term trend. That's good. That's good news. We've got plenty of white candles coming back in. This is really impressive. This candle I love. I think this is an amazing candle. I really, really like that candle. I like the fact it's reinforced by that, and I like the fact it hasn't come beneath there, and I like this candle too. So this is starting to look really good now, but I can't buy it. I think this will go up, but I can't buy it. And I can't buy it because of that, because I have this thing called discipline. And it frustrates me sometimes, this discipline thing. It really gets on my nerves because it keeps me out of some trades which I know are going up. But it also keeps me out of a bunch of trades which I thought were going up but kept going down as well. And that makes me feel good about life. Because yes, I get a bit annoyed. Oh, I knew I should have just gone. I knew it was going up. But then it's the ones that tank and I go, geez, I'm glad I didn't buy that. I'm glad I didn't get in too early there. They're the ones I feel better about. Okay, so let's delete all of these. And I want to talk about the point of supply through here. Oh, I'm in the wrong place. Look at this. I mean, I shouldn't even be here. See, I'm in this tab. I went into this tab because of the total return index. I like to keep all my scratchings in the same place, ladies and gentlemen. You know what I'm going to have to do now? In the YouTube recording, I go back and I have to transfer all the scratchings we've done up to this point into this tab here, which is all of our other scratchings. And oh, look, I did love Elders up there. But this is not me now. This is me talking about how other people think. And you can see we've talked about this many times. Up here, this is genuine. I would have put that there on that day. I would have said 0% buy on Elders despite the moat. And I've pointed to these candles before, and I don't know why I drew an arrow there. Maybe that candle didn't exist yet. Okay, or I said, I don't know, maybe it could go down from there. I don't know. But this is the candle. This is the key. This is the important one. And what I was going to do is draw for you where the supply zone is, which is up here. And I think it's going to go there. I think it will go up into that zone. I think there's a very high probability it will, but I can't buy it here. But that doesn't mean you can't. You can do whatever you want to do. That one is for, I'm not going to look. I was going to look at the fundamentals. I'm not looking at the fundamentals, so I don't care. Bluescope, I do care about this. This looks really good. I've tweeted about this many times. Just be careful about this bit here. Are we worried about it? I don't think we are, at least not in this candle. And the beautiful thing is the market will tell you if that area is a problem. If this point of supply is a problem, the market will let you know. Sometimes the market shouts at you. Sometimes the market whispers at you. Here, the market's shouting at you, okay? I say, hey, there's a big problem. There's way more supply than demand right now. Be really careful. Look at that afterwards. Sometimes the market whispers. It just I mean, this is a little bit of whispering, isn't it, about the importance of that level. I think they're whispering about the importance of this level, isn't it, and how important that level was going forward. So what a great case. I'm so glad that I found it. Because sometimes you don't get the perfect examples when you're doing these sorts of webinars. That's a whisper, isn't it? That's a whisper about the importance of this point of supply. And then that's more of a shout. Okay, so what are we going to see? We don't know. We haven't got the candles yet, but keep an eye. That's a point of supply that is important, and we should pay attention to it. Get there. Until then, I'm happy holder. I think it looks great. Would I add risk on this one right now? Would I go plus 1/3? No. Why? Look where we are with the point of supply. Okay, at least I'm consistent. Many tweets on that one. Happy holder there for you, Peter. AX1. Look, it's probably in that elders camp. I think it's doing some great work to turn around, but I can't buy it because I need to see how it interacts with that long-term trend zone, because it just happens too often that this long-term trend zone is a key area. So if it sort of did something like that, I could get interested, but until then, I'm a pass on this one. And I suspect this also is very similar. Okay, so we looked at this one last week. It's Lovisa, and I just wanted to show you this. It's not in anybody's request that I can see just yet, but it's a great case study for Accent One. I know very similar stocks. But I told you, I forecast this. That's why I drew these. These arrows were drawn in advance, ladies and gentlemen. This arrow here, this arrow here, this arrow here, and this arrow here were drawn in advance. And we didn't quite get it at that point, but we are getting exactly that price action now. And I said, I'm concerned about this long-term trend zone. I need to see it do this to get excited by the prospects on this one. And until then, I'm happy to wait, even though I think it actually will do that. I actually think this will go up. But I can't buy it. I just can't buy it because it just doesn't meet my criteria. And then just doubling back to this, you can see why I've drawn the same stuff again. I'll often draw this stuff just mainly out of experience, just seeing this stuff happen for years, for decades that I've been applying my technical analysis strategy. Let us go to Lovisa is actually next. Awesome. So I don't have to do it. And Kogan is one that we've had great success on. These two candles here are minus 1/3 for me. So which one's this one here and this one here? And that's not great, but this is not a reason to get out. So that one's okay. But these two afterwards, sure. And then this little inside here is very interesting. We're not pushing back up. So we've found the supply. Like we knew we were going to find it. Nothing's going to go up in a straight line forever. So we found the supply, and we started to negate this big white candle as well. We're sort of just closing here more than halfway down. That's not a good sign, but it's not a deal breaker. But I think for me, even today, today minus 1/3, unless it had the most amazing white candle close. Based upon this, I would go minus 1/3. Where's the next one? I think obviously, that's still valid here. So this is still valid for the next third, and then you would have the final third. Might be beneath that zone there, okay? But we're still holding. Don't get me wrong. We're still holding a substantial amount of this. Look, round number. Were there any targets before that? No, I don't think so. 7's not a major round number. But for me, hold 2/3 minus 1/3 on Kogan. Hopefully you got on it. Hopefully you did really well. Hopefully you got on this one. We're just going through my list of stocks I tweeted about now as feature charts. We've talked about this many times, 1 plus 1/3. I can't see any reason to get out of this. In fact, I'd still be happy to well, I'm certainly happy to hold, but almost just be looking for another place to add risk on this. These are all very, very strong candles here. And so often you hear that this is a bearish candle, this one here. Oh, it's hanging man doji. It's indecision. You know, you got to get out. You got to short it. It's just so dumb. It's just, there are some really, really bad technical analysts out there. That one there. And, you know, hey, listen to who you got to listen to and judge them by whether they make any sense or not, I guess. But it's frustrating. It's frustrating. I hear so many bad ones. Let us go. I've done all those. I'm going to start to pick up the pace here because I can see we're struggling on time and I've got zillions of requests to get to. Let's go to the streamers. PMT, Patriot. I read my Twitter feed. Patriot Metals shorts got toasted today. They were on fire. Patriot Metals shorts. Look, I don't know who would short this thing. It's not my kind of gig to short something like this, but today, I don't think they're getting toasted. Let me just make sure I've got the latest update. So I'm clicking update off screen here, and this will change, probably will change, because this last one is a live candle, okay? And we should only be doing analysis on a live candle. Why am I doing analysis now? That's just the format, okay? But really, ideally, we make our decisions based upon the closed candle. If I said live candle, I misspoke. We make our decisions based upon the closed candle. So I don't think Patriot Metals shorts are getting all that torched. Maybe on the open there might have been a short covering, but what's come in? Like, it's just the supply. Think about the supply's just laughing. The supply's just laughing at those. They must see tweets like that, and they must just laugh. They must just go Like, it's just given us another chance to sell more shares at a better price than we were selling the day before. All I can see here is these arrows are clearly indicating is like rain, like supply raining down on this one. Let's look. I'll let you decide whether you buy, hold, or sell it. I'm not a buyer for obvious reasons. Big black candles are never a good reason to buy anything. Short-term trend is clearly down. I don't have a long-term trend. It hasn't been around long enough. And I suspect that with this supply in the market, we'll probably make another point of supply. It's above that one, to be fair. Not bad. That's good. I mean, it's better, but it's not good. So look, what if I own this right now? What are my gut feelings on this one? I can certainly say that. In fact, there you go. I'm going to do this. I think okay. Look, I'm going to go. I'm going to cover my backside here and do this. There you go. Just on the basis that, we did see a bunch of white candles coming in through here, little gap, but the closing of that gap with this supply candle is not good. So I'm going to do that. And again, Carl, let me tell you about Patriot Battery Metals. Let me tell you about lithium first and foremost. I'm not so sure about lithium. I think that's a problem. Down again yesterday. And the lithium carbonate chart is very similar. But it's interesting to see lithium hydroxide lagging lithium carbonate here. This is the processed product. You get lithium hydroxide from spodumene. You get it from lithium carbonate, and it's typically your cathode precursor. If I'm not mistaken, maybe it's the anode. Look, it's one of those two. To see that underperform is very interesting. And then I think if we take out that low there, this is going to fall very, very quickly. And the only thing that might prevent that is a substantial subsidy or reintroduction of subsidies for Chinese electric vehicles. But I mean, they just took it off. So why would they put it back on? Hey, anything can happen. But I'm concerned about lithium. Let us do, therefore, our tour to lithium that we often like to do in these sessions. And for some reason, I've lost my, here we go. Don't worry, I've lost it for now, but it's coming back. Let's go here and let's do a quick lithium overview. Charts only, no fundamentals, because I don't care about the fundamentals. Let's go AGY. Do you not care about the fundamentals? The fundamentals. No, that's awful, and it keeps getting awful. And if you've been listening to me for any period of time, watching my lithium sector reviews, I keep saying it's awful, and it's still awful. Surprise, surprise. Allkem, there you go. This is one we've had some problems on. Not problems, but problems last week. Look at all these minus 1/3. It's hanging in there today. I mean, that's an important candle. And look, I would have said if it closes beneath here, right? Look at that. I was looking for a minus 1/3. in that zone, and it came down. You almost got it here, right? Look at that candle. I've got plenty of arrows on the screen, but that was prophetic. That was prophetic for me to say, watch that zone for a -1/3 with that candle. Look, this candle is very, very impressive, as is this one. It's quite impressive. And the fact that it's happening at the same point tells me you've got demand. There is demand down here. And it's serious demand. It's not to be trifled with. Don't trifle with that demand. But it does give me a clear point where I just need to move this now. And I just, if I move it like that and just type in here, I'm just going to go close less than is -1/3. Okay. And it's just like eating breakfast, ladies and gentlemen. You just when it does it, you just do it, right? You don't ask questions. You don't go, oh, but what if the market is telling you what to do? Just follow the market. You're not following me. Just follow the market. CXO. Look at that. I'm so glad. It gives me a warm, fuzzy feeling to know that I've kept some of you out of this company. I mean, I haven't kept you all out of it. Many of you probably held on belligerently. As I told you, there's something wrong here over and over again, week after week. But I do get that warm, fuzzy feeling. Hey, maybe if I didn't make you money, maybe I saved you money. And for me, that's just important. Delta is one we have liked. I think this is still valid. We haven't closed beneath here. And I think just stick with that. And then you're probably going to go another -1/3 here. But holding in between, I think you've probably got out 1/3 already, though. I don't think you've got the whole position here. Let me copy paste that. So -1/3, and then you can see, I think, where the next 2/3 are coming closest beneath. Okay, but holder in the meantime, that has lost so much momentum, it's starting to concern me. ESS is okay. Not sure why that's not working. There we go. It's okay, not brilliant. I could hold if you love pain. If you love pain, you would hold on to that one. If you don't like pain, then you want happiness, then you wouldn't. This one looks good. I mean, it's one we keep saying, don't we? I just keep getting to this one, saying, look, it looks good, it's constructive. But then it disappoints me by throwing in these black candles. I'm going to go a hold on GL1, one of the better looking ones we've seen so far, but not an amazing chart within the context of every chart on the market, if you get what I mean. But in terms of lithium, hold. There you go. I've been, some of you are probably wishing that Carl is wrong at some stage, right, about these things. But the trend, I don't make the trends. The trends are made by powers far greater than me. IGO, you can see close -1/3 through here and close -1/3 through here. And then I think this is it. That's it. You're all done here because you have closed beneath the long-term trend zone. If you didn't, then you might want to wait till it closed beneath that. But I think you're gone. I think you're out. And the fact it's bouncing today is irrelevant to you. And let it go up. If it goes up from here, happy days for everybody involved in IGO. But you're moving on to something else that's going to have better momentum. There is still a chance that we see something like this. But I think I'm done with this. I think I'm over IGO, and I think you're probably over IGO as well. Let us keep moving to, I haven't looked at this for ages, but why would you? What a piece of junk. Lake Resources. Leo Lithium is this one here. This has done well for us, hasn't it? -1/3 there, still 2/3 remaining. All of these black candles in a row. Look, I think just hang in there, and for me, hang in there and then close beneath there. I think it's pretty clear cut. Close less than. There you go. So it's if you first time you're listening to me, it's a pretty simple philosophy. If they're going up, you hold on to them or you buy them. If they're going down, you get out of them. There you go. Don't need to say anything more. Stop the webinar. +1/3. Oh, I think that's a bit conservative, isn't it? Plus worth it. This one, unfortunately, I think has kicked us out a few times prematurely. But you've still got some skin in the game on this one, and probably it's looking good. I think you're underweight. If you've only got 1/3 there, I feel you're underweight on this one. So I think this is I'm a happy hold here, more than a happy hold. Probably leaning towards maybe even I was going to say adding some risk, but this is such a big supply. I mean, this clearly is so important. So happy hold, and let's see how we go around this point of supply. What happens up here? Is it a whisper or is it the market shouting? And if we get above that, this thing will do 50 quite comfortably, I think. So that's a nice chart. I'm a happy holder there. Liontown we said there's no reason. This is takeover's kind of done. Mineral Resources, is that a blip down there? No, it's not. It's just a drawing. We've been neutral on this for a long time. And as much as it's had its little pop every now and then, I think that's the place to be, because you can't get any more amber and amber on that. Future prospects and moats and all that sort of jargon considered, no reason, I think, to be in this one. I think that's extremely mediocre. Pilbara obviously has one that is starting to require a little bit of attention, I think. Close beneath here, which he did, so minus 1/3. Look, at best for me, at best you plus 1/3 remaining on this one. That's how I would play it. And I don't think, I think I'm over Pilbara as well. I think these charts are saying if the bigger you are, the harder it is right now. We've done PMT. SYA, again, warm fuzzy feeling from me, because I've kept you out of that. If you've listened, if you haven't listened, then that's your fault. Vulcan, we said it started to look good on that candle, but I can't buy it. And this is a great little case study here on many of the ones that I've said, look, I think they look good. I think they're going up, but I just can't buy them. And that's why I don't, because I have to follow my model. They're not ready yet. And then WA1 is where we're going to finish it. It looks okay. I could hold some, but it'd be a small holding on that only. I think it has potential. And if it starts to do, something like that, then I could certainly look to get back in and add risk. And you don't need to until then. You get the point? Like, you don't need to. Like, why do you need to be in that until it starts to go back up again? Make your life a pursuit of happiness, not pain. That's the lithium sector review, everybody. Why don't I stay in a roll here? Hit up rare earths. That's a piece of junk. I've no interest in that. Oh, but Carl, that's a piece of junk. I've no interest in that. But Carl, RNU is very popular. I've no interest in that either. And let's round out our tour of rare earths with that. I have no interest in that. No interest at all. I can't see any reason to own Lynas shares right now. There is actually a new contender, isn't it? WA1, which I do like, which hasn't worked out. Okay. So I would have been happy to buy here, but I think I'm just going to go precautionary measure. And here, for me, that's minus 1/3. And this one hasn't. Well, look, to be fair, I said plus 1/3 all the way up here. But if you did get onto maybe a later tweet, then I think it hasn't worked out. And in that case, you're probably cursing my name, but I'll have to cop that. Minus 1/3. Paul saying that he lost plenty of money on CXO. Not because of me, Paul. Let us go. I'm going to, again, continue to pick up the pace here. And stop typing in any new ones, because I can see what the last one is on every list, and I'm not going to go past that. Let us go. Neil is rambling as usual. Hello, Neil. Great to have you on board. I've done that one. Nuix is one that's shot up. There you go. Nobody would have told you to buy Nuix apart from me. And it was, again, it's one of those frustrating ones. I couldn't do anything until this candle. I can't. That's just my model. So if you got in maybe at the start of this candle, you're making a bit of money, hooly-dooly for you. I think you're okay. I can't see any reason to get out at this stage. If you wanted to try this stop to break even, you could. I don't see why not, because I don't think we want to see it get beneath the low of that. So I'd have my stop set, 0.5% at least, or at least half an ATR. You might want to go that way, beneath that low, and which is as close to break even as you need it to be. And then see where you go. Why have we stopped here? Well, that's why we stopped here. That's why we stopped here, everyone. I don't make the levels, I just point them out. That's why we stopped here, but it's fine. It's a whisper. Well, it's not even a whisper that something bad is happening. In fact, if anything, it's telling you we're not that concerned by that level. We're actually holding up really well on Nuix. So I'm a happy holder there too. Appen, which see again, this is another one which I did start tweeting about here only because I just would have loved to see it go up and just prove everybody wrong. And it didn't work out. You would have had to get out pretty quickly, but at least there was swift in your exit here and here. And since then, there's been no reason to own this. There's absolutely zero reason to own this. I'm at 0%. Well, let's just cut the middleman out. Just go 100% sell. I can't see any reason to own this at all. Oh, but Carl, BPL, I'm not sure what that one is. BPL, I don't think it exists, but maybe BPT is the one that we're after. Looks fine. In fact, today it almost got going. It's a shame because I reckon there's more in that. But I'm only looking for sort of a 190 on that one, up to the point of supply. Yeah. Anyway, I think that's fine. I like this big white candle. You know how much I like the candle. And then it's doing the stuff. It's doing the stuff. And again, I saw it starting to move. I saw the rest of the energy sector move, but I can't tell you to buy it until I get the signal. And none of these are signals. As good as it's looking here, and you know now what I know, you have to wait for the signal. And the signal is big, unfortunately. So, but happy there if that's the one you're asking about. Phil, PMT, which is obviously we've done that many, many times. And then RWC, this one's for James, which pushed off that long-term trend. And this is the candle that got me excited again. A little bit disappointing today because I think we're still seeing some of this supply in here sort of manifesting itself. Look, I can go hold. I don't think it's a panic yet, and probably down here is where you start to bail out, and then you properly out beneath there. But I'll go hold in the meantime, James. And then we've got LRS, which we've done, and then IIQ, which I've never heard of before. That's not a good sign. It's let me try and do this. I'm not sure if I'm going to find it. In fact, I just saw it there a second ago. Oh, okay, yes. That looks good. It's actually chart rings a bell. IIQ. And July 11. I'm off screen now, but July 11. I tweeted that one. There's a plus 1/3. Where is it then? Here. Maybe there. No. What did I see? Oh, that little white candle. Yeah. Okay. I think it's fine. And we've got a clear roadmap here. Beneath here, it's not fine. But I can go hold. And it's closer to a buy than it is to a sell, that's for sure. And really, any move off here is going to be very, very good. So, yeah, I'm a happy holder here. But then I don't want to see it get beneath that level, close beneath that level. And I think you're saying, you know what, this hasn't worked out. Okay. But still looks fine for me. RR. BPT, Phil amending BPL. Thanks, Phil. Peter, AVH, which is fine. Nice big pop-up yesterday. I'm not too fussed about that little black candle today. We've still got a big gap here. If you blend this candle together, it's mostly white. Happy holder here. Would I buy it? Look, let me just see any white candle and any lower shadow, and then I could have a crack at it, but not until then. So something that looks like this. And most of you know where this is about to go. So that or that. And, sort of anywhere around here. And then I would be happy to add some more risk on it. But not until then. I can go hold in the meantime. AD8, which came up yesterday on the scan again. So just holding the, so we said a minus 1/3 on this at most. We've still got 2/3 left. You probably had a reason maybe to just 1/3, but I think you can add some risk back in. I think it's okay. Today's candle's not great, but I think yesterday's candle was the key. As long as we stay above sort of 3 here, I think we're okay. And then you're starting to bug out, down here. With your final thirds and not fight the market. It's again, I think it's really a really high quality stock. This one does have a big moat around it, but I'm not going to fight the market. It hasn't turned out originally as good as I thought it would have done, Peter. Neil's saying energy on the way up. Yes, some of my favorite charts out there are in energy right now. Let's hope it continues because, energy is a bit dodgy from time to time. Silex, I don't think looks great. In fact, it is really, I think that the tide is starting to turn here for Silex, particularly when I look at that candle. And if that candle closes there, then that's not good. And for me, that's certainly a minus 1/3 if you haven't already. But then beneath here, I think is, you could say second minus 1/3, and then beneath here would be your final third if you're a true believer. If you're not a true believer, then I would have been out way, way, way before this. I would not be owning Silex right now. EZZ. Looks fine. If you can see this candle plus 1/3. Oh, okay. Well, there you go. The prophecy. Did we see, if you can see this candle, and I drew it on that day, did we get it? Actually, we pretty much did, didn't we? So you might have got in there. I don't think it's, done all that poorly for you, and not that well either. But look, happy holder. I can't see any reason to be getting out just yet. There is a big point of supply up there, which is an issue. How do I know it's an issue? Well, look how it's manifesting itself in the market. And it's more of a whisper than a shout. So I'm going to go hold. Look, if it closes above that point of supply, then really anything can happen. So, look, happy holds, but you know what sort of candles to look for and the price action you don't want to see up here to suggest that you might want to lighten the load. But in the meantime, I can go hold on that one, Phil. Let's go. Adonis is MQG, which is very interesting. I think it keeps going sideways. I don't know, people keep telling me this is such a high quality stock. It's the stalwart of your portfolio. It's the must-own company for the long run. I can't see it. It doesn't look bad, but it doesn't look good. It's just stuck between these red boxes and the green boxes, clearly. NTA, what's NTA? I don't know what that is. National Tyre and Wheel. That could go up, actually. Not that this is what Neil has asked for, but I always have to decipher Neil's hieroglyphics. I don't think there is an NTA, Neil, unless you're telling me to look at the net tangible assets, which is, I have to laugh at that. Net tangible assets everywhere. That's the key fundamental metric that everybody should keep in mind. That could go up. That wasn't meant to be here, but that could go up. I'd keep an eye on that one. And let's go to wrong screen. Let's go computer share. I'm just trying to knock off this list, then I'll head back to the other list. Happy holder there. I can't see any reason to get out. It all looks very good with the short-term trend. Long-term trend is turning around. In fact, it's gone up again. We're dealing with this point of supply. So should we be surprised that we are pausing at this point? No, of course not. And look at that. The market shouted at you a little bit, didn't it? It raised its voice. Right there. It raised its voice. You just, it's always talking to you. You just got to tune your ears in, everybody. You just got to listen to the market. This looks good. This has not come up on my scans yet. And I suspect it's because, look at this complete lack of volume and lack of turnover. I bet you this is missing on my turnover filter. And I do miss things from time to time because of that. But I think this looks very good. So I'm a plus 1/3 on this one. Let's go plus 1/3. I don't even think about that. Plus 1/3 and see how it goes. Look, that's as complicated as investing gets. Ladies and gentlemen, seriously, that's as complicated as it. Yep, plus 1/3. Chart looks good. If it's any more complicated than that, you are doing it wrong. But Carl, investing is a serious business. From Chitan. So I had to laugh at that. Should I buy CSL right now? Chitan, I don't know. Should you? I wouldn't have a bloody clue. I can tell you though that these are nice. Look, point of demand rising. These are nice candles through here, and I would say that there's every chance that CSL is going to go back up, but I can't buy it for myself because the trends are all wrong. Okay, but this is a classic reversal pattern that can target probably into maybe 280, 285, where my long-term trend is going to catch up to it. And you can see how it's going from there. Does that mean this is a long-term buying opportunity? I wouldn't have a bloody clue. Ask somebody who knows, mate. Let's go to... I think I'm done. That's enough of that one. Let's go over to here. Quick fire, rapid fire, because it's 12 o'clock. We're going to go for another 10 minutes. AEF. Yeah, looks interesting. I have been tweeting about that, haven't I? But it's quite slow and steady. But no, look, yes, I'm happy with that one. I'm happy plus 1/3 there. I have tweeted about it a number of times. This is one which I'd put into the category of I think it's going up, but I cannot buy it. And please don't please don't force me to explain why I can't buy it. Okay, again, because that's been today's theme, hasn't it? Stuff which I think is going up, but I can't buy because I have rules and I'm disciplined in following those rules. CCX. Ditto. I think this is going up, but I can't buy it. 29M. I'm not so sure this one's going up, but that's a decent bounce and a decent candle today. So maybe it helps. So translation. Carl thinks it's going up, but he can't buy it. Translates into a hold it if you've got it, right? If you have it, certainly it becomes a hold, but I won't be a buyer on this one either. So you got 4 and a Hoozle. Hello, Hoozle. AEF, I could plus 1/3. The rest of them, I do think they're going up, but I can't buy them. Let us go to RBL. This one has been coming up, and I deliberately haven't been putting it in because I want to see its interaction with the long-term trend zone. And this one's a fast forward on BBN, on CCX, on 29M, right? Again, another one which I knew on this day here. I knew on this day that it was going up, and yet I couldn't buy it. And hey, this is kind of new for us, isn't it? Carl hasn't said this many times before. Why? It's a function of the market. It's a function of the first chart I showed you today of that total return index making new highs, and stuff which has been awful is starting to turn around. Bargain hunters are out there, bottom fishers are out there, and we're seeing some of this stuff turn around for that reason. But I'll reiterate, I think that's going up, but I can't buy it just yet. But I'm a lot closer to buying this one than I am on many of those other ones. That's Andrew. And then Andrew's also got CCX. So you're all fishing. Here I am talking about bottom fishers, bargain hunters, and it's you lot looking at these beaten down consumer discretionary stocks. That's fine. That's fine. NWH, I still think looks. I was going to say, I still think it looks great. Looked great yesterday. Today's candle is frustrating, but I still think it's okay. Just watch under here. I don't want to see it close under there. That would be a minus 1/3, and then sort of the rest of it from there. How you would extricate yourself from this if it doesn't turn out to be the right one. Let's do MAD, and this is Nishan has got two of these mining services companies. That's okay, I think. I think that's fine. The candle that's there, which is yesterday's candle, that's not a great candle. That's a bit of a whisper that there's a bit of supply in the market, but it's not confirmed yet. Okay, until that's confirmed with a lower peak, so something that looks like this, right, and another big black candle sort of occurring in there, I'm okay. I'm a holder. Let's do GRR, which is a big day today, a really important day today. Could I buy it? Oh, I can see this. I can see this, right? So I can see this, and I can see that, and I reckon it's going to go up. But I don't think I'm a buy today. Look, if this closed on the high, like literally on the high, smack bang, the best of the day, I could go 1/3 because that's all it really is, isn't it? That's all it really. That's what it's all about. Could I go 1/3? Close on high. Okay, let us go to Patriot. You all want to know about Patriot bloody Metals. Dow, which still looks good. Certainly I've tweeted this. And again, one I would have loved to have tweeted earlier, but just couldn't. And it wasn't until somewhere around here, I think I started to tweet it. And there's your perfect buy. You're probably at break even on this. Stops at break even because you don't want to see it get beneath there. But happy holder in the meantime. This here, when I see big black candles like that, that's a compulsory for me. That is minus 1/3 there. And probably 2/3 remaining with a minus 1/3 here, and then if you had to, maybe just a minus 1/3 underneath there to say then to give it absolutely every chance to work out. And beneath those levels, it hasn't worked out really. Next, Scarly, which again one of those ones. So this is fast forward on so many we've seen today where I knew they were going up, I couldn't put them in, and then I think I put it in on this candle here, and frustratingly some of these candles were quite big. But happy holder there. Can't see any reason to get out. We're going to have earnings pretty soon. That always scares the pants out of me. But I think it's fine. I'd watch beneath there. I wouldn't be happy with it. But otherwise, holding on. That's for John. TLC is fine. It's not knocking anybody's socks off. Steve, if you did a survey of people's socks, everybody's got 2 socks on. GUD, it's fine. GUD is fine as well. There's that word, fine. I think this is better than fine. I think this is looking quite good here. It's quite constructive. I think the last few candles are good. Short-term trend is up. Long-term trend is up. No issues holding on to that one. I'd happily add on a close above here, or at least some nice showings of white candles, even underneath this level. I don't always wait for the close above. I'm happy to go on a white candle high close beneath. It's really important to understand that. So many traders wait for the close above. I don't wait. Have you noticed? I don't wait for the close above. I wait for a nice strong white close just beneath. So I'm in ahead of all of those breakout traders. But that strong white close tells me at that point of supply is nothing to worry about. That is gold, ladies and gentlemen. You won't learn that shit anywhere else. Certainly you won't get it for free. If you didn't understand what I just said, go catch the recording, go play it back 10 times until you understand it and you own that piece of information. That will be with you now forever. And I read, who was it? Was it Peter Lynch's book? Or was it Mark Minervini's book that you tweeted back at me on Friday? I said, hey, what are your investing books? And I read your books, and Minervini said, he had quoted somebody, said, what's the point of, if you get to the end of your life, have you lived if you didn't tell people what you did? And some of it is that for me. I've got a limited time on this planet, and I would hate for some of these things that I've learned over the years to go with me. I know that, I don't know, maybe that sounds a bit arrogant, but let's go to HVN. I'm wearing out here, team. I'm losing energy. I could go hold. I'm not a buy on that one. Property trusts are starting to turn up, but they're just not there yet. And look at the scratches in those candles. That is a world of pain. Even when it is going up, that's a world of pain. I don't like pain. I want happiness, Steve. I've done Gold Road. HVN. No, again, frustratingly for me, one I think is going up and I can't buy it. I'm a broken record today. That's your buy signal if you ignored this, but I can't ignore that. So you're really accurate there, JJ, in your understanding of, is it too early? And perhaps it is. Okay, and I might be proven wrong in that they do keep going, or I might be proven right in that they struggle with getting through those long-term trends. NEU, I think we've got some problems here. Today's candle is kind of a last little ditch effort, and I wouldn't want to see it close beneath there. I think that would be poor, and certainly beneath there I'd be exiting. I think this is one where at most you've got a plus 1/3 on this one, just on the basis of long-term trend. And it's just sort of sitting there a little bit annoying in your portfolio, if you get what I mean. It's just sitting around, you look at it or you don't look at it. And it's best not to look at those remaining plus 1/3. I'm talking about the remaining plus 1/3. They kind of sit there and do nothing and you don't stress it about, but you just want that skin in the game based upon the long-term trend. If only just to alert you, because the fact it's in your portfolio, because you're looking at your portfolio every day and you go, oh, okay, yeah, that's what I haven't looked at for a while. And now it's starting to pick up. I need to add some risk back to this. But I think that's where it fits. It's that final 1/3 in your portfolio. PME is fine. I think you've got a decent holding on this, and I think you'd be looking to add a little bit more if you can get a nice white candle closing close to that point of supply. That one's very strong for me. Happy holder on that one, he ping. Eldest pains Paul, it sure does. I'm just painting a few people, but hey, it's starting to turn around. This one looks very good. I've tweeted about this many, many times in the last couple of weeks, certainly since it started to do those things that I like to see in a turnaround. And it goes from something I think is going up and I can't buy to something I think is going up and I can buy. But we are obviously close to here, and just watch the market and see whether it whispers at you or shouts at you when you get there. Let's go to LRS. I've done that one. Terry, go check the recording. We've done all of that. Oh, like I said, I'm fading. I'm doing my best. Let's go to ABC. I'm going to get to the bottom of this list and then we're done. We've got a few minutes left, literally. Oh, it looks great. Adbury, yeah, happy to hold this one. In fact, today for me is a plus 1/3. So let's go here. So if you've got it on anything I've said, that's good news. And I'm going at plus 1/3, assuming today's candle closes nice and high. That looks very, very good. Happy with that one. And that one was for someone. Nicola. There you go, Nicola. Let's do ASM. Well, there you go. This is starting to pick up. And I know this one because my in-laws have some of this, and they've got Allkem because they owed something beforehand and they split. And they asked me right about here, hey, Carl, what should we do with it? I'm not kidding. It was about there. And I said, look, I would get out, but given you've rode it down this far, hang in there. I would get out, but it turns out it's gone back up, and it's one of those. Look, this candle here really interests me. Their previous accountant put them in for some reason, apparently. Not me. I didn't tell them to buy it. I promise you. I think it's going up, but I can't buy it. That's, again, that category, king. BOE. I just laugh when people put these through. It's like, you must love pain. If you own Boss Energy, you're a sucker for punishment. I think it's fine. I can hold it. I can't buy it here. Why? Because it's Boss Energy. It's never going up in any meaningful way between now and the end of mankind as we know it. If you hold Boss Energy, you're not offended by anything I just said. I can't buy that. Yes, it is bouncing off the long-term trend, but it's the short-term trend is pretty awful. So that's a no from me. I'm sure it's got incredible fundamentals though, Nick. SEK starting to look good, actually. I think this one looks very interesting. I have refrained, as you know, from putting it in the shortlist just yet. And much of it's to do with these points of supply. But I don't think it's too afraid of this one. You can see here how these change, right? Come back, test the long. Why does Carl keep going on about testing the long-term trend? That's why I keep doing it. This looks very good. I like this one. Could I buy it today? Am I still worried about this? No, I think today's candle, look, high close today, and it might be a little bit early, but I'm going to go plus 1/3 on this one because I want to see where this can go. I'm curious. I think this can do very well in the right market. And I think maybe we're getting towards the right market. AZS is fine. In fact, it's better than fine. What are we on this? I'm sure we've got some. I'd reiterate close beneath there is not good, but otherwise it's fantastic. If close at high is all I need to type. If close high equals plus 1/3, and it's going to blow many people's mind. Okay, Carl, how can you buy that now? It's gone up so much. I can buy it now because it's gone up so much. AEF, I've done. EOS, yeah, super interesting. Looks good. I'm happy. This one makes me happy because it's one of those turnaround plays, which always makes you nervous. But the fact it's held that short-term uptrend, look at that. It's just magic, isn't it? Sometimes it was all very good. I'd go high close today. High close today, plus 1/3 on that one. The space lasers, if I'm not mistaken. From Anonymous, from Jung, XAM, Xanadu Mines, perhaps. Looks fine. I don't want to see it get beneath here. And then here is where I'd be going minus 1/3. So close. And hopefully you can just see how flippant I am now. If you've been with me long enough, it's annoying at first. Geez, this guy seems just so flippant about stuff. And hopefully now it's why you keep coming back. RUL we've done, LOV we've done, NXT is, well, it's amazing. Look at this. I have tweeted about this one. Happy holder, plus 1/3, plus 1/3, plus 1/3, and high close today, another plus 1/3. I think that looks very, very good. Probably, not probably, that's my favorite chart today. Thanks, Jacqueline. Anonymous, based upon today's session and you watch this screening, what are your 3 strongest looking options? I'm not going to answer that, Anonymous. NHC. You don't pay me enough to answer that question, Anonymous, and you're anonymous. Put your name in next time. You hope. Jill, what are you doing here, Jill? I bet you bought it, didn't you? Did you buy it, or have you still got it from last time? You know my opinion on coal stocks. I think it's too early. I'm not a plus 1/3 yet. What did I say? Did I say plus 1/3 last time? There's no way I said plus 1/3 last time. There's no way. I think you can hold it, but I'm not convinced. I'm not a true believer. It's a hold. It's not a buy for me. That is the bottom of all the lists. Let us go back to here. I didn't do the 2 to coal, did I, today? But no harm. You should read that. It's very important. Press pause on the recording. But I have told you that everything today is general in nature. It has not taken into account your personal financial circumstances or particular needs. Okay, if you want to catch the Thursday macro, you have to do the Thursday macro at 1 o'clock. We do indices, commodities, foreign exchange, crypto. And then Friday, USA, compulsory. If you think, we've actually found a bunch of stuff to buy in Australia, which is rare for Australia, but there's 10 times as many great setups in the USA. If you're not trading USA shares, you can do it with us just as easy as you're trading your Aussie shares. We've got commission-free CFDs. It's just such for me, it's such a clear and obvious progression to people's trading. If they're doing shares, obviously we've got $8 Hin and Chess sponsored, but then making that progression, that next step, using the knowledge you've gained from investing in shares to at least learn about what CFDs are and how they can really turn you from an average investor, I believe, to somebody who can trade like a hedge fund manager with longs and shorts, and you risk spread widely enough across different trading setups and different trading styles. www.thinkmarkets.com/au. Why would you do it with us? Plenty of CFD providers out there, but we are the ones that keep winning the awards. We have the best platforms, and for me, I believe the big reason is the best support. You can call us up and talk to us straight away, and that, I think, makes us not quite unique, but very close to it among our competitors. If you're watching on any of the streaming services, please hit the subscribe button. There's a button somewhere. Make sure you whack that one to stay notified of any of my future updates. And it's so important that you hit that thumbs up button. I should probably put that at the start of the presentation because it does help me get the message out there. Apart from that, it's been a pleasure chatting with you today. All the best if you're trading and investing. Until we catch up again. Bye-bye for now. But don't forget that, as I have mentioned numerous times throughout today's presentation, everything is general advice. It has not taken into account your personal financial circumstances or particular needs. So before making an investing decision based upon any of this information, consider it carefully or seek the help of a financial professional. The rest of the information, that disclaimer is important. You should read it or head to our website, download our PDS, our product disclosure statement, or our financial services guide.